Howdy y'all, I'm Ghost Takes and I'm back with a new video. So I think I'm going to try and do a figure review every Thursday, probably going to be along the lines of Fake Thursdays. Now, unless I get a demand to review the other figures from this toy line, I'll probably round it off with the Spot from the Across the Spider-Verse. This is because I generally just don't have an interest in the other figures, whether that's because I don't like the design or it feels like a redo from the other movie. So I'll take it away from my comic review part of this figure now. To be honest, before I did my research on this character, I really didn't know much about him, right? He was always one of those few Spider-Man villains who should technically be really good in God tier, but he's mainly just treated as a joke, right? He's had a few appearances in a few shows, like the perfect animated series, or this horrible Spider-Man show, right, from like the 2000s. Now, with Spider-Man, they tend to give him either animal-themed villains or scientific-themed villains. And can you guess what they did? Yeah, they just recopied the same concept over and over again, because why give a character a new intrinsic background that's never seen before and can actually be like a staple in mythology? No, that just recopy it. Why don't you? So, Jonathan Owen is his name, right? And he works for the Kingpin, which, if you know anything about the comics, you probably know Kingpin, but he's a frequent Spider-Man, but usually Daredevil villain. And Kingpin wanted him to copy the powers of Cloak and Dagger, which, why them of all people? I still can't figure this out, because like, Cloak and Dagger are okay and they're like superpowered people, but there's so many other people you could copy, like anyone. I would even take Mr. Immortal or whatever from like the comics or She-Hulk or whatever, right? But no, you want someone who can like make light projectiles or teleport through a dark dimension? Like, that doesn't seem productive at all. Which, if you are a fan of Doctor Strange, you should know that the dark dimension is actually the dimension Dormammu rules, just for a fun fact, right? Now, in his studies, you could just assume which power set he wanted to take, right? Which he tried to replicate the Cloak's abilities of the portals, right? But he accidentally opened this thing he called the Spotted Dimension, which is basically this colorful like place, but it has the like everywhere there's these dark like oval like spots, which you can see are on his body. So when he created this experiment to get the powers of Cloak, right, he accidentally made this like power shut-off grid in Manhattan, and literally it caused a portal to open in front of him. So, like all scientists, he made tests before carelessly jumping in. What? No, he jumped? What the fuck, he jumped? What kind of scientist does that? So yeah, he jumped into one, and he came out, and he found his body like, well, how it really is now, right? It's just white with black spots on it. And here's a fun fact for you. When he first fought Spider-Man and Black Cat for the first time, he actually beat them. And that's because not even Spider-Man's spider sense can really detect where he will attack, because it's kind of unpredictable. Which, what the f***? Can we just talk about that for a second? The spider sense should be OP. Like, he should know wherever the person's gonna attack. But no, they had to downplay it like usual, because otherwise, what's the fun in that, right? Well, now the Spot isn't all powerful. He is basically the equivalent of a weak man, right? Because he just has the Spot power, right? So with these powers, he usually tries to tire his opponents out, and then he'll just take them out from there, right? Because like a simple punch could take out anyone if they're drained, right? So he also has some type of weird reincarnation ability that's never really explained, but it's probably because of his superpowers, right? And here's a sad fact. The Mandarin trapped the Spot within his own dimension and forced him to have a mental breakdown that left him unable to speak, and his only way of communication was through random spots on a page. Now, with the Spot's powers, as you could assume, right, they're teleporting through the spots he has. You can also throw them off of his body and make a portal. And the Spot can also portal people anywhere. So it's not really minimalistic or limited to a certain area, like wherever he's at the time, he can literally teleport people to random locations, right? So this includes my totally super informative analysis on the spot. Okay, now that I'm done with the comic character review part, I'm gonna go over the figure itself, what it has, the articulation, and then in the end, I'll come up with some theories on what I think this character is gonna work for the movie itself, okay? So, off the bat, I'm not gonna lie, I accidentally lost one of his alternating pairs of hands. He only has one alternating pair, which is just closed fist, basic white, right? He also comes with this, right? So, in case you can't see, it's this piece with Miles' head and part of his torso coming out of it, just to show off his power set, and it looks really cool. I'm really in love with it. Then he also has a similar thing with the portal, where it's just his web flipping hand. I wish it was just a hand, that way you could like maybe take it off and replace it with other figure hands, but again, it's pretty cool for what it is. And it also comes with this plastic base, so that way you just plug it in, so it look like this. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. So yeah, that's what it has right now. It's okay. I kind of wish it had a little more to it, maybe like plug-in pieces for like heads and stuff, but overall, pretty cool idea to have for this figure. And the alternating pair of hands are kind of blank, like you can see right here, it's just white. So there's no dots or anything, which is a shame because this figure is already minimalistic as is. So the added detail would have been nice. And with that being said, like I was telling you, the design is kind of basic. It's just these black dots. And again, that's comic spot, so I'm not gonna dock Into the Spider-Verse for that. It also has this weird proportional body. He kind of looks like Groot if you look at it in the right way. So yeah, plus his arms are really skinny. Like I feel like I'm definitely afraid that like if I move in a certain way, it's gonna snap, just like how I said in the Spider-Punk video, right? Because when you move it in a certain way, it sometimes doesn't bend how you want, and you could see it move the wrong way, and it's definitely a scary thing. So yeah, there's that. For the head, it has this really cool thing. So it's just like a basic normal Marvel Legends head. It's not like the one from the 2099 figure, where that one had like the weird, I think it's called dumbbell joint, so it couldn't really look up or down, so that's really nice. But overall, I really love this. Again, the minimalistic, as much as it sucks, it's part of the character, it's the design, so you can't really dock Marvel Legends on that one, or even the movie, because that's literally where they're getting from is the comics, right? Now, for articulation, I said this earlier, he can move okay, right? Like, you can see in certain times, it feels like the arm's about to fall out. You can see right here. And yeah, but it doesn't do anything that's too abnormal, except for the ab crunch, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But it has the same motion as all the other figures, right? You can go this high with the legs, this back with the legs. Hands do the same thing as normal, right? The head, like I said, goes up that way, down that way. So again, really nice, right? Now, as I was saying, the ab crunch is horrible for this figure, and the reason why is because it gets it like this if you bend all the way back, which I don't know if they were trying to do that for the spotlight effect, having it open like this, because it is legitimately like dark in there, so it looks like a black dot. And I've seen people pose with this where they have the figure's like arm going in there, but I don't know. There's that. Sand just fell off. But also on the back, it kind of looks a little weird. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but it has this weird arc part right here, and it's not as clean as the front part, so that is a little concerning. But overall, not too bad. So personally, I would rate this figure maybe a solid 7 out of 10. It's not the worst figure, but it's definitely not the best. Just for the fact it's minimalistic, the articulation could be better, and I don't know, I just found the amount of accessories they had kind of minimal, considering that this man's whole body is made out of these dots, right? So like, he should have more spots than just like 2, and then like on top of that you can't replace anything from the spots. Like I would have preferred, like I said, missing arm piece, missing head that you could just interchange, but it's a cool figure overall. So now for my theory part of this, I noticed when I was looking this up online that when they had the Into the Spider-Verse movie, you could see when Kingpin's trying to turn on the collider, there's 2 scientists in the room. One's a woman. I don't know if she has importance. She probably will. And then there's a random generic dude who looks like Dr. Octopus. And, you know, with that being interdimensional, I could see them going down this route of like, oh, okay, he got sucked in at the end of the movie, right? And then he went into the spot dimension, right? And then getting his powers, and then being mad at Miles because he views him as the reason why maybe his wife died, and now he's like a freak now, like this. But yeah, that's my theory on that. I think it's pretty soundish, I'd say. It also gives him motivation to not like the other spider people. So yeah, overall, like I said, love the figure. Could be better for sure, but you know, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Peace.